everybody, and welcome to another episode of Angelika's Journal. Today, I'm going to share with you where I'm at with seed starting and how, little tips and tricks on how I do it. And then I'll give you a wrap up at the end of everything we've done up till now. And I hope you enjoy the video. I hope everybody's doing well. And yeah, enjoy the video. Here is a little clip of my setup. I am now going through all these seeds that are in paper towel, and I'm potting them up over here. So there's the ones I have to still do from this tray. I pulled out the seeds in case there's issues. I can check back what year the seeds are from, and then maybe put in some more seeds if those seeds aren't working, or start a new Ziploc and paper towel, like a second one. And then that's my work surface, because when you water them, you want something that's like a dish to catch the water. And then there's my soil, my pots. Now over here is my big bucket of soil. There's the tote of pots. And then there is my box of seeds. So I refer back to that. And then on this side, here's my water, my pruners, which I use if there's a clump of seeds in one area, but all around it there's nothing. I carefully cut around it. You do have to look for the roots and make sure you're not cutting any roots. But I do cut down the paper towel in order to put it into this little pot over here. This is like a 1.5 inch pot. So it's a pretty small pot. The diameter 1.5 inch. So yeah, and then I water with the squirt. Sometimes I'll water with the like a mustard ketchup kind of bottle. And then if you look over here, there's no seeds on the bottom because I have both trays up here. And then they're the ones in the small pots. And they're the ones, just little seedlings. They now need light. And then these I chose to put in bigger pots. So the geranium has bigger leaves and are pretty hardy. So I put them in a big pot. So I don't have to disturb their roots. They can just grow and grow and grow until it's time to put them in a pot outside. So they only get repotted once. And that's these two geraniums. Then I have a foxglove back there, which is not doing so good. So I think if I have some more sprouts, I'll put it in a smaller pot. Let's see, I do have some coming up, but it's not doing too good. Maybe it just doesn't like all the soil. I don't know. Or maybe the seeds are too old. And then my strawberry alpine, I just planted. I don't know. Can you see all those little sprouts? I'm so excited. I've never been able to sprout strawberries. These are alpine strawberries. They're actually a whole bunch. They're on a paper towel. And I wanted to mention, with a paper towel, I prefer putting part of the paper towel in with the seed. That way I'm not pulling the root of the seed out of the paper towel. But bonus, the paper towel holds moisture. So it keeps the root moist even if you forget to water it. And we all know how bad I am at watering my plants. So there we go. Some do not have the paper towel in it, some do. So this is my first clip. I will do multiple clips for this video, just so you can see all the different stages. I wanted to show you, you see how there are sprouts here, there's one starting there, there's this one, and in here and here. Because there are so many sprouts, and there's a whole bunch of seeds that can still sprout, when I plant this one up, now this is the rosemary. I wanted to, like, rosemary is an herb. So I've chosen a bigger pot. I'm going to use this pot for it. And then if you look at the size, I don't know if I can do this. You know what I mean? Like, it will cover the whole thing. And this will give it plenty of time to fill in and get nice, big, and thick. So on this particular one, I'm just leaving the paper towel, and I'm going to put the whole thing in. Like, I'll put 2 inches of soil, put this on top, and then do like a sprinkle of soil over top. And with other ones, I try not to pull it out of the paper towel because I only check the seeds like once a week. And actually, last week I didn't touch it till a week and a half later. And a lot of the roots get stuck in the paper towel. And I think that's why a lot of people don't like to use the paper towel. But remember, paper towel is decomposable, and it will decompose faster than those peat pots will. It will decompose like maybe 3 months, it'll be gone. So don't take my word for it. I'm just trying to say that it goes really, really quick. So I'm just going to plant it right in, the whole thing. And that way, if any of these other seeds start sprouting, it will be more then. And then on top of it, the roots can establish. They'll go through the paper towel because they're already in it. And I think it's a 2-layer. It'll go right through and build up roots underneath. So here I have already put the soil in the pot. I will push down on it gently. Make sure there's no extra soil on the sides. I try and make it as even as possible. Then I will take these seeds, carefully lift it, and just put it right on top. Now, if it is a little bit too long, whatever does not have any sprouts, I will try and tuck down the sides. So I have the really skinny pointy one, this thing, and then I will just push it down on the sides. And just take your time, you know what I mean, like enjoy the process. Now here there's some seeds that are there, so I'll just move them over, and then I will try to just fold it down and then just tuck it in. Tuck it down the sides. You can cut it off if you want. I didn't want to because I have a couple of sprouts here and I don't know which way the roots are going. So I just choose to tuck it down like that. And you want it as flat as possible on the top. You don't want a bump. So you tuck it in as best as you can. See, sometimes it comes up. Well, then use your finger or use another tool just to keep it down, right? So all around is nice. Then I'll take some more soil and I'll just sprinkle it over top. Make sure the paper towel is covered. See? You can't even tell there's paper towel. Here it shows through a little bit. But you don't want to put a lot of soil on top because you want it to come through. You want it to see the light and then come through. See? Then I take my spray bottle because the spray bottle will not move the seeds around. So spray it down. Then if you feel like you need more water, you can take the spray bottle because the sprayer has already packed down the soil. I actually exposed a little bit there. Oh, there we go. Just a little patch job. And there we go. Now we're going to make a tag that says rosemary on it. And we're going to stick it in and put it under the lights, and it's done. Now you can pull the seeds out of the paper towel, but if you do that way, you got to be really, really gentle. Now with some seeds, you can just put the seeds on top of the soil, cover it slightly with soil, spray it down, use the squeeze bottle. You know what I mean? Like, you can do seeds right in the pot. But the thing is, you have to have bottom heat, and they prefer plastic to keep the moisture in until the seeds germinate. So, I guess you could put saran wrap on it, unless you buy pots that have a lid, which is why they sell those trays with the clear plastic lid. It's to keep the moisture in that helps the seeds germinate. So either way works. It's whatever you're comfortable with. I prefer it this way. It's less messy. And if a seed does not sprout in the soil, but you have it in that moist environment with the clear lid, it could develop mold. And mold is easier to see on paper towel because it's white. As opposed to the soil, you can't see it. You repurpose the soil and you're transferring that mold. So yes, there are techniques. What is it? Hydrogen peroxide or rubbing alcohol or something mixed with water. You can use cinnamon. I just prefer this. It's simple. I can use the paper towel because it decomposes really quickly. You know what I mean? And there you go. Bob's your uncle. So here's another example. This is a 4-liter milk jug. This year I forgot, but usually in January I start collecting them because that's the way we buy our milk. I like a lot of milk in my coffee, so we go through it pretty quick. So if you keep them, cut off the tops, wash it out with soap, just dish soap and hot water. You can use it for your seeds. Now, another thing that's really cool about this is your paper towel is square, right? This is pretty much square. So you could pretty much just stick it in there, and there you go. Once the seeds sprout, like this one is chamomile, and you can see how many sprouts. Parsley, I had the same results. Tons of sprouts. So then all you do is you top it up with some soil, and you're done. The corners, you do have to push them in a bit. So maybe when you put your seeds on your paper towel, leave about 1 inch all around. And then just, well, you would only put seeds in this area because when you fold it over, some will transfer. As you can see here, most likely I had put the seeds on this side, but some did transfer on this side because I got some sprouts on that side, right? But just tuck in your corners. There's no seeds on the corners, so they can even fold. As long as there's no seeds, you can fold the paper towel. It doesn't matter. See, on this one, I was smart. I only did the seeds a small amount in this area. Also, it probably was easier for me to do it that way because chamomile seeds, if I'm not mistaken, look how tiny they are. They're very tiny. Anyway, so now I'll just take some soil, sprinkle it over top. Carefully, very gently move it around because you don't want to damage those delicate seedlings. Right now, they are so fragile. So we're just going to fill in the corners, the edge there. That's a little bit thick. And they can take a little bit of abuse as long as you're very, very gentle with them. They'll be fine. All right, so there we go. Now we're going to use the sprayer. I hope I have enough water in it. Whoops. And if you are concerned, like I had said, you could use your squeeze bottle. If you're concerned about using the squeeze bottle on it, what you can always do, because the moisture is going to be throughout the soil, right? You don't want the soil to dry out. So you could, on the side or on the corners, put the water. I'm not afraid to go over top. If some gets exposed, I'll just put some more soil. And I don't really squeeze. I just turn it upside down and let it dribble. And there we go. I'll make a tag for it. This one's chamomile. It's an annual. Sometimes I mark that, sometimes I don't. And there you go. Another one ready for under the lights. So now that those are done, it's time to start the next set of seeds. So I'm doing the hot peppers right now. I did chili and I did cayenne. This one's serrano. Oh, there's a few in there. There's not many. Okay, that's the last of them. So I'll take my Sharpie and I'll put a line through it so I know there's no more of those. I'll put the paper clip back on. And now we'll take this and spread them out. We don't want anything near the edge. Now these, I'm doing it this way because I know the seeds are pretty big. So I knew that to move them would not be an issue. So just spread them out a bit. Now with the peppers, each one of these seeds will be a plant. So technically, I did not have to use all these seeds. I could have just gone with 6 of them or 4 of them. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to use this many seeds. But I did buy them 2022. So that was 2 years ago. So I'd rather use it up and then next year just buy a new pack. Also with these hot peppers, what I've been wanting to do is to dehydrate them, grind them up, and use them as an herb. But anyway, so there we go. Whoops, I did it the wrong way. This is the folded side. It should have gone here, but whatever. I boo-booed. So we're going to put it here, squirt it down again, make sure it's like nice and wet. I was using the sandwich bags, but since I'm low, I'm going to use the snack bags. And the snack bags are big enough too. You probably get more for your money. And so, oh, I forgot to label the bag. Hold on. We have to put on here Serrano del Sol. All right, now that we have the name on it, we can then put it in the bag. And then squeeze it. Make sure you let some air in. Sometimes you can blow in it just to puff it up so that when the seeds sprout, there's a little bit of room in there. And there we go. Another, oh, today's date. I didn't put the date on those either. I did those yesterday. What are we today? The 18th? I think we're the 18th today. M18. No, not 18. Easter's on Sunday. 29. Ah, I messed up. M29. And those were done on the 28th, so I have to mark it. M is for March, and then so I know how long, because the older ones are on the tray that's down there, and then this is the new one that I'm making on this tray. So then the next time I go through them, if I can put them all on the one tray, I can then next start the next group on the new tray. So every time I do it, I'm trying to, I don't want more than 2 trays. If the others aren't ready and I have stuff on this tray, I'll move it to one side and then put, so on the right side is always the newest and on the left side is always the oldest. So you shouldn't have more than 4 weeks worth, really. 2 rows per tray, and then you just keep shifting them over. You shouldn't have more than 4 rows. Mind you, the 6 to 8 weeks, which is the one I'm working on right now, is the most. So it's going to use up a whole tray. But yeah, just keep them organized. And that's why the date. So you always use the oldest one, because the oldest ones, if they're been in there for like 2 or 3 weeks, they may start molding. So you want to keep them in date order as to when you did it, because you need to pay closer attention on the oldest ones. Anyways, and there we go. We're just going to mark them, date them, and just go through them all. 6 to 8 weeks. We are at 8 weeks. Our last weekend we were at 8 weeks. So this weekend we're at 7 weeks. And then next weekend it'll be 6 weeks before the last frost. So by next weekend, everything under 6 to 8 weeks should be done. And then at that point, I will slow down, because anything that is set to 2 to 4 weeks, well, technically 2 to 4 weeks, we could do that directly in the garden if we wanted to, if we had to. Because indoors you're limited with space, you do what you can, which is another reason why you want them in date order when they need to be done. Because if you run out of space at 4 to 6 weeks, that's fine. You know what I mean? 4 to 6 weeks, that's a month to a month and a half. Well, if you plant them outdoors, if June is a nice month, you can put it out in June. By mid of August, you've got, it'll probably start producing fruit already. Fruits and vegetables and whatever, flowers. So, and remember, herbs you can keep in the house. So if you have the right window in the kitchen or living room, then you can actually grow herbs indoors all year round. And you don't even have to put it outside. Anyway, so I will continue doing my seeds. And yeah. All right, I'm just gonna wrap it up now. So as of up until now, the steps that I took were in January. I took an inventory of my seeds. I planned out my garden, and I got a date, like an estimated date of the last day of frost. That you go online and you look it up. Farmer's Almanac used to be the one I depended on, but there were a few years where they set a later date than we actually got. And because we're at the base of the Rocky Mountains, we're at the foothills, ours fluctuate. So I spoke to neighbors when I was working in the garden center. I asked, the customers what date they go by. Everybody goes by the May long weekend. This year it's a week earlier than normal. So I don't remember if I took the May long weekend date or the weekend after that. The May long weekend here is Victoria Day. Monday is Victoria Day. That's the long weekend. and that's the weekend we usually put our plants out into the garden. So know your last day of frost. Know what seeds you have and what you want to do with the garden. So that's number one. Once you've completed that, you can then create a seed order, because you have your list of inventory. You plan what you want to put in the garden. Um, and then you do your seed order. Sometimes I will leave a bit of a gap, like there'll be a few pots that I haven't decided what I'm going to put in. Because remember, on the last minute, you can go to all the different, like Home Depot, Canadian Tire, all these regular stores, Walmart, Superstore. They do have a selection of outdoor garden plants. So on the last minute, you can buy them in store, and if you're not doing seeds for those pots and you haven't come across anything that interests you, you can on the last minute still buy stuff. So you don't have to buy every single seed variety to fill in all your pots. There's some years I will do one plant and not another, like petunia. I didn't do any petunias last year. I think the year before I did. There was one year I did lobelia, which I don't do them every year. So yeah. So that's part one. Then by that you create your seed order and you place your order. Or you start going in stores and buying them off the shelf, but you have to have your list in your purse, or you guys in your wallet, so that when you do come across them, you can go buy those seeds and you have a list. You're not guessing. Then when your seed order arrives, if you're ordering it by mail, if you're buying in store, keep your seeds in order of how many weeks before frost you have to start them indoors. Like my little rectangular tote with all my little divisions, keep them in order. Even if you just don't have the divisions, you just have it in a row, that's fine. Just make sure that the ones that need more time are in the front and the ones that don't need as much time is in the back. Another reason why I do that is because I'm limited. I have those 2 black shelves. 4 of them have lights. 1 of them has the heating pad, and 1 is storage. So technically I only have 4 lights. I am thinking of putting 1 above the dining room table in between the 2 shelves, but you are limited with how much light space you have. So you put them under grow lights, they get a certain height, you put them in your window. Your window, you only have a limited amount of space. So the reason why I have my seeds in order is so that when I see I'm running out of space, I don't have any more space, I can't do any more, I am the closest to the frost date as possible. So the section that says 2 to 4 weeks before your last frost, well, those, if I end up planting them directly in the garden, it's not a horrible thing. They only need like 4 to 6 weeks. That's a month to a month and a half. So then they get just set back a month. But if you've got, like I estimate, we've got 4 months of gardening. June, July, August, September. October is iffy. So if I can put it out the May long weekend, that's a week before, or 2 weeks this year, before June. So I'm already starting to put some stuff out. Yes, it's the cold loving plants, but depending on the weather, you can never say exactly when your weather is right. So you're guessing everything. So once that weather, you are around the frost point. So in Canada, we go by Celsius, it would be 0 degrees. In the States, they go by the old system, which is 32 degrees. That is your frost point. So if it's 5 degrees on either side of it, then it's time. You can work the soil, enrich the soil, do all that, prep the garden. Um, if it's a nice sunny day, you can even like clean things. If you have like my deck, I scrub my deck every year. Arrange where you want your planters. There's so much you can still do. And then when like the freezing point is less often, it's less than 50% of the time, well, you can, if I'm not mistaken, you can plant your peas. There are some that can take some frost. Cabbages, broccoli, like the brassicas, they can take a bit of frost. Kale, I've seen kale get frost and they're fine. They bounce right back. So, yeah, know your frost date, and then as you get closer, you try and do whatever you can to get it out there as quickly as possible so that you have the best results when it comes to harvest time. So that's why I like to do I have my seeds in order. All that just to say the seeds are in order. Um, uh, and then you have to create an order for other things you need, your fertilizers, your bone meal and blood meal, your insect repellents, whatever way you do it. All that kind of stuff. It's also in January, actually. Another thing you can do is decide if you're going to start collecting plastic jugs to put your seedlings in. You can start accumulating shredded paper. Tax season is in March, well, March, April. So you've done your taxes, you start changing your files over. So that's when I eliminate the oldest year and redate it for this year. So then you have a bunch of paper you can then shred. During the year, flyers or anything like that, shred it and accumulate it in garbage bags. So when you go work in the garden, you can take a handful or two and put it underneath in the soil. My backyard, I could probably use 2 garbage bags of shredded paper. I don't accumulate that much. I only, like, if I do, I'll just use 1 garbage bag of it, and I only put it in the bigger bins. I don't put it in the smaller ones. So, but if you have like 3 or 4 grocery bags, that's enough. Table scraps. Have a bucket outside your back door and start collecting table scraps. Yes, it'll freeze. And once the weather warms up, it will be like mush. But then there are different ways you can use it. You can either mix it into your soil with a shovel, or you can add water to it and then use it as like a fertilizer. Like when you're watering your plants, you will put that on your plants. There's nutrients in table scraps. So those are just some ideas. So either February, March, or April, depending on your weather. I start end of February is what I say, but a lot of times I don't start till early March. But seed starting time, which these videos today and lately have been about starting seeds. And so that's where I'm at. I've done everything I've just explained up to seed starting. So now it's the seeds, waiting for the warmer weather. And then we start working in the garden. So I hope this helped. if for anybody who's just starting to do this, remember, even if you're in an apartment, there's no such thing as you can't garden. You can garden in a sunny window. If it's your bedroom, if it's your kitchen, your living room, like me, you can still garden. You can grow lettuces, you can grow herbs, anything that does not, like tomatoes and peppers have to be pollinated. So those you won't, you can still grow indoors, but you will have to take a paintbrush and manually pollinate them. But for like, to make it easy, you don't have to grow those you buy in the store, but you can grow the things that don't need to be pollinated. So like, if you buy little baby carrots and you have a tote that's about 14 inches deep, and you got the Nantes carrots, you could grow carrots indoors. Like peas, you can grow peas indoors. um I believe peas need to be pollinated, so you'd have to manually do it. But I don't know. I do everything in the garden. The insects take care of everything, right? So, not everything, but like my plants producing. um, yeah, so hope you enjoyed. Remember, do what makes you happy, and everything else will fall into place. All right, everybody, take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.